Alright, this is a third gen. I'm doing shocks and springs in the back. Over here it's a 15mm nut. And you have to take this panels out over here. And it's under this carpet back here. It's right down here. Right there. And I use a deep socket with an impact gun. It pops right out. If you don't have an impact gun, you can use a 15 deep socket. Actually, sorry. You can use a wrench on this. A 15mm wrench, and on top over here you could put a wrench on top, or adjustable wrench to hold this in place so the stud doesn't move. Now I'm going to do this side over here. On this side, what you got to do is you got to undo this Torx bolt over here. Then once you undo that, you pull the carpet back, you pull this sponge out, and that's the shock right there. So I'm going to go ahead and take that out right now. That's out. And you got the bushing and the space and the washer on top. So let's go underneath. I'll show you how it looks underneath. Alright guys, now this is a 13/16 nut right there that goes on the shock. I'm going to go ahead and remove that right now. And just pull it out, and that's the shock. Alright, now the other side. That doesn't want to come out. Alright, so we tried prying it. It's not going to work because there's a rubber bushing in here. So I'm just going to cut it straight flush with that. Looks like these shocks have been here for over 200,000 miles. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that off right now. Cut it right out. Alright, so now we put a vice grip on the end over there, and I'm going to go ahead and pack this out. See that work? Alright guys, now when you do a third gen, also other cars work like this also, but you have to take a look at the suspension real close. What we did is we put jack stands in the back over here where the control arms are, the mount for the control arms in the back, and we put a jack underneath the pumpkin under the third member of the rear end over there, and there's a brake hose that comes from a hard line from the front and goes to a hard line on the rear end. It's a rubber brake hose that connects it. Other cars have it connected on top of the rear end, on the body, so you have to undo that clip and make sure when you lower the jack of the rear end by itself, it's not going to get stretched or pulled away. You're going to have another problem in your hands. So keep a lookout on that brake hose in the back. So now the shocks are out. We're going to drop the rear end slowly, and the springs will pop out. So let's do that now. Keep going. Keep going, keep going. Stop, stop, stop. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and pull the springs out. I probably need to probably borrow for this. So there goes this one. Now you have a rubber isolator on top over there. Make sure the new spring sits on that on top. Alright, and the small end goes on the bottom, as you can see there. That sits on the perch. There's a perch on the rear end. So let's go take out this other spring now. You can see here, that's where it sits. There's a little perch here. So I'm going to go ahead and take this one out now, just like I did the other one. And there you go. So now I'm going to go ahead and now install the new ones. Alright guys, one thing I want to show you up here. On top where the spring sits, as you can see here, there's a groove. So you have to index these springs too. The end of the coil should be over here, around over here. So make sure it sits on it correctly. If it's going to sit over here, the coil, that's not going to be good. One side could be higher than the other. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Alright, so let me put the other one in. Then we're going to start jacking up slowly, and I'm going to index it. Now this one on the driver's side, the coiled end should sit over here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Alright, now we're going to start jacking this up while I check the indexing. Pick the light. Alright, I'm going to start raising the rear. You go back, you go back. Alright, up. Alright, let me check the other side. Perfect, actually. Alright, one thing also to keep a note, if these are actual lowering springs, so the springs move around a little bit. So you have to be a little extra careful with these. Alright, now I'm going to install the shocks. Okay, now these KYBs, actually I like these because as you can see the stock one, there's nothing here. And it's hard to take off because this thing keeps on spinning. So what they did here is it comes with this setup here, like this, and this bolts onto the control, onto the shock mount over there, and you put lock washer and you tighten this down. And over here on this side, so that stays inside the shock mount, and this just threads in here. With this bolt over here. So if something happens again, you know, all you gotta do is just take this nut off and just come right out. This stays in the mount. One more thing I want to mention. Underneath, where I'm going to show you where the hole goes underneath, you need a rubber bushing and a washer underneath. Then you're going to see on top, I'm also going to put another rubber bushing, a washer on top, then I'm going to put the nut. That's how it goes, like this. And the car is in here, the frame, the body.
Sitting so much. Oh, come on.
Alright, so you see that hole right there? That's where you gotta get the shock stud through. Okay, now over here, I'm gonna mount it. So, I'll go ahead and do that. Like that. Lock washer and nut. One side is a 3/4 inch nut, and the other side is a 7/8 nut. So I'm going to go ahead now and tighten this down. Now this is how it looks over here. That's the arrangement of the washers and everything. So now I'm going to go ahead and tighten this down. So that's good. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the other side. Also make sure on this side you tighten it down. Now like I said, the bushing is underneath and it's touching the body, and there's a washer under that. Now on top here I'm going to put another bushing. Then I'm going to put the washer. So in other words, 2 bushings sandwich the body of the car. Then I'm going to put the washer, and this is a size 14. And I'm going to tighten that down on this side and on the other side. And here I'm going to put an adjustable wrench to hold this so the stud won't turn while I'm torquing it down. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Alright, so this is how you tighten it down on top. You put an adjustable wrench to hold the stud on top, and on the bottom you go ahead and tighten it down. So I'm going to go ahead and do this now on the other side, and we're done. And that completes the install of springs and shocks on a Thirdgen from an 82 to 92 Camaro / Firebird. And this also could also be applied to other cars with minor variations. So thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel. It's free to subscribe. Just check the box underneath. If you like more videos like these, check out the rest of my videos. Like me and do all sorts of things to me down there while you're at it. Don't worry, there's plenty of clown to go around. Ta-ta!